Welcome to Police 10-8 Talk. I'm Joel. Just here at the workbench again. Wanted to take a couple of minutes with you. We've been making some good contacts via our YouTube and Instagram and some other things. So I've been getting quite a few holsters to review. So I was getting so many of them, I thought I'd better spend a little time and make up a list of things I look for when I'm reviewing holsters. That way I can keep the table fair and balanced. So we're going to pan down here on a couple of holsters, and I'm going to go over my list with you that I came up with for reviewing holsters. I have 9 sections on my list that I made up. Number 1 on the list, firstly you can see chambers clear, magazine wells clear, weapons clear, and a decock, holsters decock. The first thing I came up with on my list was I wanted total coverage of the trigger area. So just for example, here's a Blade Tech, one of the original clip-it designs, not the new one. Go in there, and as you can see, total coverage of the trigger area. Here we have a Tolster, and as you can see, total coverage of the trigger area. Here we have one from C&G Holsters. Again, we have good total coverage of the trigger. This one we have just a little, on the C&G we have a little bit of a protruding lip that keeps anything from even getting in between the trigger guard and the plastic. The second thing I look for when reviewing holsters is I look for the quality of the material, and I look at the quality of the fasteners on all of them. I apply the same criteria to all of them. Third thing I look for is when I'm wearing it, good concealability. How easy is it to hide? Do I have to make clothing adjustments to wear that particular holster? Another thing I look for is good retention. When the handgun's in the holster, do I have good retention? All 3 of these examples, you can see all 3 of these have a good audible click in them when the holster's in. So that gives the holster good retention of the handgun. Another thing I look for in wearing a holster is when I go to draw it, am I able to get a good grip on the handgun when drawing it, which I can with all 3 of these particular ones. Very easy to get a good full grip. Another thing I look for is how well is the holster protecting the handgun. On these 3, again, they all do a fantastic job of covering up the handgun and protecting it from dust, wind, blowing, dirt, whatever it may be. Another thing I look for, which would be number 7 on my list, is adjustability. Can I adjust the retention on them? Can I adjust the angle of the holster? I generally prefer straight up and down when I'm carrying inside the waistband. So just real quick back on retention, you notice on the Blade Tech, no knock to Blade Tech, good holster. All of my retention is here in the molded plastic on the Tolster and the C&G as well. You notice there is a retention screw with a rubber bushing in there, so I can take a Phillips screwdriver on either one and back it off to where there's basically zero retention, or as I have them adjusted now, where there's just no way they're going to jiggle out. The other thing I look for is what protection is it providing me protection against the metal parts abrading my skin. I've worn all three of these quite extensively. I've never had an issue with any of them. Perhaps the only difference is you can see the Blade Tech and the Tolster have a full sweat guard, and on the C&G, as you can see, hasn't presented any issues to me. It's just something I look for in reviewing holsters. You can see how the sweat guard covers the entirety of the slide on both the Blade Tech and the Tolster. And number 9, comfort when wearing. I think it was Clint Smith that said carrying a handgun is supposed to be comforting, not necessarily comfortable. So guys, just wanted to spend a few minutes with you and let you know what I look for when I'm reviewing holsters. Give us a like or subscribe. You can also watch us on gunpowder.com, gunpowder.tv or gunstreamer.com. Also follow us on Instagram. So make sure you give us a like or subscribe. Thanks for watching and be safe.